Well, here we are.
Yes, here we
Stands
are.
on air, and I have Liz. Liz is going to. She's super brave. Super brave, right?
I think I'm brave, yes.
So Liz recently found out that she has pancreatic cancer,
Stage 4.
stage 4. And she's going to take us along her journey with her. That's the brave part. I'm going to try to get through this without crying.
We'll do that.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
Yeah, it is hard. It's hard for people, other people.
So when did you find out that you had cancer?
Actually have it. I found out today's Thursday, Monday morning.
Okay.
A little bit before that at a ER room where they came in and after a CT determined that I had pancreatic cancer with metastasis to the lungs, but they put it, when they talked about it and put it in writing, it was pretty definitely. And really, until an oncologist looked at the records, that wasn't for sure the deal, but it was for sure the deal. So that's when I found out.
Did you find that it gave you did you have any false sense of hope when you spoke to, because you speak to another doctor after you went to the ER?
Yes, then we went to another ER it was a Thursday night, and then, it was the next day on Friday. We went to another ER because my abdomen was so distended and it began to hurt really badly, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, and it was probably the pressure on my lungs. And so we went to another ER. And am I supposed to look at you or there?
We're just having a conversation.
Okay.
Very candid.
Okay. That doctor, when we went in, I just said I have pancreatic cancer with metastasis, and he kind of a little bit chastised me. You don't know that for sure. And I said, well, maybe you should read the papers from the hospital when they sent me home with this piece of paper that said diagnosis, da, da, da. And he said, well, they shouldn't have put it that way because there's other tests that need to be done, and you will determine all that with an oncologist. And I had an appointment by then with the oncologist, and had a discussion with him on the phone. And he said, the only thing I can offer you, because I haven't seen you, I can't prescribe. You need to go to an ER doctor where an actual doctor sees you and he can prescribe. So that's how it was. And then he gave me, they had tried to put it took them 3 IVs to get into a vein. They said my veins kept blowing. So she had a good enough one that he was able to give me some morphine by IV, and that helped my pain.
Okay. Pretty instantaneously.
Pretty
I would
much.
say. Yeah.
Got a little loopy,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Morphine will do that to you.
Which I guess the nurse thought it was funny. But anyway, so yeah, that helped. And he prescribed hydrocodone and a stool softener, which I thought was interesting because that was not my issue at all. But anyway, that's what he prescribed. And the oncologist then on Monday said, don't take those. So I said, okay. So anyway,
don't take the stool softener.
Don't take the stool softener,
but do take the pain pills.
Yes, okay. Yes. And the oncologist, the morning I went to the oncologist, I didn't take a pain pill because I figured he'd want to palpitate and stuff, and I wanted my pain or lack thereof be obvious to him. So I didn't take a pain pill, and I told him that, and he said, don't ever get behind on your pain pills. No matter what you're going to do, you take them on schedule.
Okay. And did he tell you the reason for that, or is it just for your comfort? Not take them.
To not take them, what I perceive from that, because I've cared for 3 cancer patients, was that you get behind on pain pills, you can't catch up. And so even though you're not feeling pain and it's time to take your pain pill, because you're not feeling pain. It's, it's human nature. We'll think, well, I'm not in pain, but you really are.
Right.
And it's going to come. So stay on schedule with them. So I know that very definitely from my other experience with cancer patients. So I've stayed on schedule.
And you had cancer before. You had breast
I
cancer,
had
no?
breast cancer 20 years ago.
And what stage did you catch that at?
1A. Very small. Wouldn't have caught it had I not had a mammogram. It was very small and on my chest wall. But it was a cancer. It was a breast cancer called Ki-67,
Okay.
which is a very fast-moving cancer. So they had caught it on a mammo, said, let's watch it for 6 months, which I cannot believe I said that was fine, but I did at the moment. So watched it at 6 months and I was good. I went back in and it had tripled in size.
Oh, God.
Even though it was small, it had tripled. And that was the Ki-67 part of it. So they treated me very aggressively.
And I remember you had lost your hair.
Yes.
With
yes.
the chemo.
The whole deal.
And you wore. Did you wear a wig once?
I wore a wig one time to a funeral. One time. And it was all fancy. And I'd gone to my hairdresser, Patty, who's I'm going to just, fix you up here. And I went to this funeral, and it was a wonderful funeral for a firefighter in Hilton Head, a young man who had died of brain cancer. So anyway, and my husband, Tom, was a funeral goer. So he went to funerals. And on this one, I went with him because I love Kenny. But I got in the car with my daughter afterwards, and I just took it off and threw it in the back seat and said, that's it. I can't wear these things. You're going to have to put up with this bald head. So I never wore a wig again. I wore hats.
Right. Yeah. And you wore scarves also.
I wore scarves.
Those were really pretty, actually.
Yeah.
I thought you rocked that look.
Well,
I really did. I said, look at Liz go.
Good head. It's very smooth. There's no bumps or lumps. So
and you had a
my complexion was really good.
Yeah, like it was. You just delivered face, and that's all you really needed to do.
Yeah,
you still deliver face.
Well, I got a lot more wrinkles now, but yeah, it was not. It was. I always knew I'd survive that.
Yeah,
I just knew.
You just knew that.
I just knew that. But when I was diagnosed, a very good friend. I had a few girlies that we always drank on Tuesday night at that bar on Hilton Head. Next to Jumpin' Phil's, the one
not Monkey Business.
No, it had that. It was the name of a popular family on Hilton Head. Is the name of it.
Oh,
and the guy that owns it is usually.
Is it Riley's?
Riley's, right? O'Reilly's or Riley's? Riley's.
I want to say it's Riley's.
Yeah, I think so.
It might be O'Reilly.
Anyway, we drank there every Tuesday night. So I told those girls when I said I need to do this by myself. I know you're going to want to come and see me, and I wish you wouldn't. And they accepted that and honored it. And I just went through it by myself. My kids, would touch in. Jill was real attentive. But yeah, I just knew I'd survive it. But I just knew that I needed to do it by myself, not with a bunch of people around all the time. And so I went for chemo on a Monday, and then they gave me these anti-nausea drugs that said they'll knock you out.
Did they?
Or that, they'll make you go to sleep. And I just took one. I wasn't sick. I just took one. And basically, I went to sleep for 3 days. Me and the dog, I just kept taking the pills, and we slept for 3 days. And then I get up. But I was really tired, and it was hard. The first and second week was hard. On the third week, I was just like nothing had ever happened, except I didn't have any hair.
And this is when you lived on Hilton Head Plantation, right?
No.
Or were you still in Sun City?
Sun City.
Okay.
But we had a place in Sea Pines.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
And so Tom would go back and forth. But yeah, I was in Sea Pines or Sun City, drove back and forth for radiation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Dr. Thomas told me. He said, you can find a second opinion. Really for sure you can, because this is such a small 1A, stage 1A, that they'll say you don't need chemotherapy and radiation. And, but I will tell you that I had a patient 2 years with this exact cancer, and I said the same thing to her, and she in fact did find a second opinion that said you don't need both, and she's dead. And I said, "Well, just you sign me up right now for whatever."
Right.
So I took his advice, and I believe that he saved my life.
He absolutely did.
I think so.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you felt in your gut that you had enough in you to,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, present day.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've been diagnosed stage 4 pancreatic cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and it has metastasized to your lungs.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, that is true.
All right. Did you have any symptoms?
Mm.
Would anything lead you to believe, like, probably now in hindsight, looking back, you go, right?
Yes. I had symptoms starting 6 months ago,
Okay.
but I was really engrossed in my granddaughter's graduation from high school, and they were bowel symptoms.
Okay.
I wasn't sick to my stomach.
We
I
just
wasn't.
had constipation.
Well, I didn't have. I guess I don't think I was constant. I was just having trouble pooping.
Oh, okay.
Just and
Okay.
it wasn't. I thought to myself, should I go get this checked? And I did think, what if I get it checked and it's something bad, and I'm trying to move and buy a house in Hilton Head, and you really don't have time for something bad. But I didn't think it was something bad.
You didn't. So you
No.
didn't feel anything going on in like your head and your gut going.
No, I didn't feel it. And my mother died of pancreatic cancer.
I
So,
see.
but she presented from the beginning with nausea, just nausea, and wasn't diagnosed till an exploratory surgery. So I didn't have any nausea, and it didn't occur to me. It just didn't occur to me.
And why would it occur to you? You know, there's so many people that deal with digestive issues.
Exactly.
I'm one of those people. I deal with digestive issues. And since you've told me about, I'm like, you start to be like,
well, it's common
You know?
sense if you think about it. It's digestion, and you can't digest without your pancreas.
right.
So what happens past the pancreas, I'm not a doctor, but it would seem to me all has to do with digestion.
Oh, yeah.
And poop has to do with digestion.
Right.
So
right.
anyway, and I was moving, and then I'm well over 65. I'm 77. So I had to switch insurances through Medicare Advantage.
Oh gosh. What a
And
pain.
then they gave me a new network of doctors and said, call any of these doctors. And I knew I needed a primary care physician, and this was still bothering me. So I knew I needed to have it checked. And I couldn't get into one of those doctors because they weren't taking new patients.
That has been the trouble for a lot of people.
A lot of people. And in the United States of America, we should be able to get health care.
It's that
That's
100% agree with you.
Totally.
There.
It was frustrating. I finally made an appointment. One that was taking new patients. She couldn't get me until January 28th. And this was November 1st.
No, yeah. And especially with this type of diagnosis, the sooner the better. Right?
Absolutely.
The sooner you can start getting your treatment plan underway.
Because you usually, I just read today that pancreatic cancer starts, it could be brewing for about 10 years before you get any symptoms.
Good grief.
Yeah. And
10 years.
10 years. Now, Debbie asked the doctor, how long do you think her words were, how long do you think this has been brewing in my mother? And he said, 6 months to a year.
Okay.
And I said, so when this all started 6 months ago, would they have found it? And he said, no, because
they just wouldn't have probably thought to look.
They wouldn't have probably done a CT that would show anything wrong with the pancreas because it would have been small enough that it wasn't showing. And that's unfortunate because yeah,
because it just kind of sneaks up on you.
It does.
So then fast forward again.
All right.
So now we're at last Monday, right?
Yeah, 4 days.
This past Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just your abdomen is distended. It's got a bunch of fluid in there.
So distended. Oh, so I look, honestly, you know how when you're pregnant, you kind of sit like this with your hands on
Yeah.
your belly? That's what I was doing. I mean, it just stuck. I looked like I was pregnant.
Well, when did I see you? 2 days ago. Yeah. Tuesday.
Tuesday
It was Tuesday, right?
that you walked the dog, and then yes, and I was going to go in at 3:30 and have the
Yes.
fluid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And much better.
Oh,
Much better.
yes, they took
You
10.
even look like you feel better after that
I probably do
because you were in so much, I felt like you were just in so much pain.
I was so uncomfortable
Mhm.
with all of this stuff on the front of me. So they took out 10 pounds of fluid.
5 liters, right?
Mm-hmm. 5 full liters,
Good grief.
10 pounds. Yeah. And that's a
So,
funny story. When I had the fluid out, the tech, a lady, I talked her into letting me bring Debbie in with me, and because I wanted her to watch and tell me. And the tech said, "Now, have you ever had this done before?" I said, "No, this is my first." And she got this look of like fright on her face. So I said, "Ooh, what does that look mean?" And she said, "Well, this is very painful. This is very, very painful, and you should be prepared for it." And I said, "So what's the painful part? The tube going in?" I'm thinking, I'm visualizing they're putting a tube about this big in my skin. That's what I'm.
because of how she made it sound.
Well, I was thinking it's going to take a lot of tube to get all this out of me. We're going to do this through a little teeny tube, but yes, they are. But she said it's a little painful, and I said, okay, well, I have shots in my eyeball every 6 weeks. So more painful than
Oh
that. And
my
she
God.
said, well, I've never had either, but ooh. I said, well, I figure if I can have a
You
shot.
have shots in your eyeball?
Yes, I
For
have
why?
macular degeneration.
Oh.
Wet. It's wet kind. It's called wet macular degeneration. So they give you shots.
How long have you had those for?
A year and a half, maybe. I just went to get my eyes checked.
And they said you have macular degeneration
Yeah,
and you're
I
going to
can't-
go blind
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah,
get shots in your eyeball.
yeah, pretty
Pretty much.
much. Well, I was
Well,
shocked.
if shots in your eyeball, a tube in your
Yeah, I'm
in your
thinking,
belly.
how bad could it be? And I had said to the oncologist that he said they were going to do this, and I said, "Ew, is it going to hurt?" And he said, "Oh no, I don't think it's painful." I said, "Did you ever had it?" And he said, "No." And I thought,
And that's why. You don't think so.
I said, "Well, how is it going to compare to a shot in my eyeball?" And he went, "Ooh." He said, "You have macular degeneration?" "Yeah, I do." And he said, "Ooh, that just sounds awful to me. I don't think I could do that." I said, "So if I can do that, I can do this." And he said, "Well, I don't know, but I don't think I could do that." So anyway,
Do you want me to move that? Do you want to move the mic? You can move the mic.
Is it
if you
is it in
want,
my
because I
way?
feel like it's kind of in your way, right?
Well,
that's
I talk with my hands.
Yeah, me too.
So,
It's amazing I haven't thrown this on the floor and
exactly. I'm being very yeah. So anyway, she just had this frightening look, and I said, "Okay, well, whatever." And we waited for the dog. She did an ultrasound, I think, to find out where for the doctor, and she marked 2 spots on each side of me, where he would put the needle in with the tube.
Okay.
And she said the first thing he'll do is he'll give you lidocaine to numb it. And I said, okay, well, I have lidocaine patches on right now for my back. So she said, no, this, she was kind of a nervous Nelly. She said, no, this isn't like, what do you call it when it's on the skin? It's not like that. She said, it's going to be internal. I said, okay. So he comes in and she's still got this look of fright on her face, really.
I mean, has she had this done or something?
but
And how
she's
could
done-
she know?
Well, she said afterwards, because I didn't even flinch.
So other people have been like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
she said when it was through, she said, I have to ask you, did that hurt at all? And I said, no, it was just a pinch of a needle going in. And she said, I have never had a patient that hasn't screamed, groaned. Some of them cry. She said, you must have a really high tolerance of pain. I said, well, I must, because that was not that bad. So anyway, they put a tiny little tube in with that needle, and then it just drained into this machine, into these bags.
Did you watch it while it was happening?
Well, I didn't watch him put the needle in. I never,
okay.
I don't do that. In fact,
And you don't have a choice when they put it in your eyeball, though.
Yes, you do,
Do
because
you
you tell that doctor, and
It's coming at
I
you.
do not want to see that needle. I don't care what you need to do to hide it. When it's coming, you bring it up here and boom. And he did that for me. So, yeah. The first
Talent, the
time was
skill in
frightful.
that. If you can put a needle in the eye without seeing actually the patient seeing the needle,
He was good.
he's good.
And I went to one. I've already had one here, and he was pretty good, but he didn't take me as serious as Dr. Chen did
I
because
see.
he got it there, but I could kind of see it. But
Mhm.
by now, when you've had that many, my first one, I was so lucky. I have a 14-year-old granddaughter that has taken me for eye shots and MRIs, and she's taken me for a lot of stuff. Once she could drive, she was my driver.
So she's coming here. She's going to come here.
She won't be here until spring break
Okay.
of March.
Okay.
I talked to her last night. She
Okay,
said, "Alma,
perfect.
I really want to quit college and just come to you." And I said, "No, don't screw up your future. You've got a plan. Riley, don't do that." My grandson, on the other hand, is pulling the plug in Seattle. And he said, "I'm coming and living with you, and I'm going to take this journey with you." And I think that's a good thing.
And I think that you need those sort of those sort of connections.
I think so. Yeah. I have a daughter here.
You did want to do the breast cancer on your own.
I don't feel
That
that
was
way with
20
this one.
years. You don't feel that way now.
No, I
And what
know.
do you think's changed?
I know I'm going to die. There's no doubt. My mother went through this. I think I could have a year if I go with chemo, but it's really heavy duty. It's not breast cancer chemo. It's the bad drugs because
Yeah.
they got to kill this.
So your quality
carcinogen.
of life, if it gives you 6 more months, because they gave you sort of, I mean, we'll just call it what it is, kind of gave you a death letter, a death
Yeah,
sentence,
yeah.
right?
This is a sentence. I mean, they're not pulling any punches, but
I don't know that you would want them to, though,
I
right?
don't want them
You
to at
want them to
all.
just be very
And Debbie,
explain.
my oldest daughter, is just so sensitive, and this is hard for her, and she cries, and I really have to hand it to the doctor because he could see her pain, but he didn't pull any punches. But he could tell I didn't want any punches pulled. So he was very out there. And at one point, after he'd gone, it was funny. I'm sorry, Debbie. He went through all this stuff about, and Debbie's been reading it. It wasn't that she wasn't looking this up, and
Oh, it's probably, I know that as soon as the diagnosis came through, even just before the oncologist had confirmed, she was all over,
she was
Google
reading, and she
reading.
was really hoping it was pancreatitis, because that it could have been,
Sure.
but I kind of knew it wasn't. But after he goes through all of this explanation, she said, "So, doctor, what stage is it?" And I just went, "Debbie, it's stage 4. It's in my lungs. That's stage 4." And her poor eyes just filled with tears. And she looked at him and he said, "Go with your mom. She's right." So,
When the doctor delivered that news to you, what was your initial thought? What did you do you recall what your first thought was? Probably, I want to say, if I know you well enough, I want to say it was nothing to do with you personally. It was that you thought of everybody this was going to hurt.
yeah. And I thought, I need to get all my finances in order so these kids don't have to. That was my first thought. I just, I'm somebody that really works a lot. I do everything in Quicken, and I still do personally, and I keep on top of everything, so that I'm kind of behind from the move, and I don't want to leave them with that. And so that I thought, oh, geez, I got to get to work. And then the pain that I know they're going to feel because I've been there with my parents and my husband, that makes me feel really sad for them because it's not going to be easy, and they're going to be really tired before this ends. It's really stressful.
Sure.
And I feel bad for them. I
Right.
feel bad. I'm sorry. And I said, I'm sorry.
What are you
But
sorry
it's not my
about?
fault.
It's not your fault.
But I still feel sorry for them.
Right. And I think they're probably also feeling sorry for you.
Oh, sure they are.
Um,
Yeah.
nobody wants to lose you. And I
And
know
nobody wants to
you don't
die.
feel like you've lived as long as you should have either, right?
No, my plan was 88. I'm like my granny, and
So 10 more years.
I thought I had 10 more, and that was my plan. Was 88. Okay, that could happen.
And here's the thing.
Okay.
We really don't know for sure, for sure.
Mm-mm.
You never know what could happen in the next year, in the next
They
year.
could
They might
find a
come up.
cure.
Yes, they could come up with something phenomenal.
They
Maybe
could.
not a cure, but something that could
Something
make
that's
you
going to make my life, I want a good quality of life.
sure,
I don't want to lay there and
Sure.
barf with a
sure.
bowl. If, yeah.
Maybe extend without the chemo. You are, obviously going to pass away from complications of the cancer. However,
Anything could
there
happen.
there might be something that comes along or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that
Mhm.
could extend your life longer than what they've told you.
Yes.
Now I know they
absolutely.
told your mom 6 months.
They didn't tell her. They told me.
They told you 6
Yeah,
months.
she didn't.
And she lived what?
6 months.
Exactly almost to the day. Is that correct?
Almost to the day.
Yeah.
But she had a Whipple, what's called a Whipple procedure,
Mhm.
which is when they diagnosed her, they found it in an exploratory surgery. So they had her open, and a Whipple, from a layman's terms, I don't know how a doctor, but a Whipple, they kind of replumb you. They kind of take the pancreas and some of the bile ducts and replumb that, and the stomach, the way that all works. And I don't know what they do, but I know it's like a replumbing job. And the doctor that I saw on Monday, I told him about my mom, and she had a Whipple, and she lived 6 months. And my question to him was, has anything changed in 30 years? And he said, no,
That's so
it really
bizarre.
hasn't changed. However, she had a Whipple. And I said, yes. So that probably gave her more time. And he said, yes. And I said, and I'm not a Whipple candidate. And he said, no, you're not.
Why not?
Because they'd have to open me up, and it's very major surgery. And it isn't, if they're in there, why not try to do it?
Sure.
And people were amazed that she'd had that 30 years ago. Maybe they do it a lot now.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I'm too far gone.
So it's metastasized to the lungs.
Yep.
And it could be one of two
cancers. That's something that I didn't know.
Correct.
It could be adenocarcinoma.
Okay.
Which 90% of the patients have.
Is that the bad one?
That's the bad one.
Okay.
And the good one is neuroendocrine.
Okay.
I hope I'm right on these. And 10% of patients present with that. They're both deadly. But the neuroendocrine is treated with a hormone shot. And he said it's just cut and dry. So, of course, we hope for that.
Now, is the life expectancy of somebody that has the neuroendocrine longer than that of the adenocarcinoma?
I presume that it is. He did not say those words.
Okay.
But
probably if he doesn't want to give false hope, if it's one or the other.
Exactly.
Which is smart.
And Debbie said to him, okay, well, in your gut, what do you think it is? Just in your gut. And he said, I don't think with my gut.
Another smart answer. Yes.
I don't think with my gut, but I believe with my medical background that this is adenocarcinoma, which is the bad one.
When they went in and they pulled the fluid, were they able to get a biopsy?
Well, apparently not, because he said, we'll get, this is what we're going to do
For a sample.
so we can get enough cancer cells
Sure.
to see what it is you have. And if we can't, and he said, I hope this is not the case, but if we can't, then you'll have a biopsy of your lungs. And I haven't heard from him, but I got a call yesterday from the hospital to set up a biopsy They didn't say lungs, but they said a biopsy with a CT. And at first I kind of reacted like, what the hell? Somebody could tell me what's going on.
Something more than that.
Yeah. But, she's a receptionist. She's just doing her job. And I left a call for the doctor, and they did not call me back, which displeases me. But welcome to modern medicine. As I think back on it, he told me, he said, if we don't get enough, then we'll instantly.
Yeah, but I guess you
schedule it."
just want to
It
confirm.
would
You
be
want,
nice that he would call and say, Liz, we didn't get enough sales. So they're scheduling.
yeah, just keep it 100. Just tell me exactly
Just
what
say
it
it.
is.
And then let's move on. And I
So
won't
you can
bug
prepare.
you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Clarity is
anyway,
nice.
I made the appointment this morning for next Thursday at fucking 8:30 in the morning. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. We say that fuck word all the time
Do
on
you?
here. Yes, we do.
So 9:30.
We sure the fuck do, Liz.
I love saying that.
Because you know why? It's just a word at the end of the day.
It is the word.
It really is.
But I don't. I first started using the word fuck when I was probably 30. I moved to Alaska for a while, and there's no conversation that you don't have in old Alaska that doesn't start with the F word. And
same in New York.
New York too?
It's another word. It's nothing fucking bad.
I know. See, and I
for fuck's sake.
That time I hated the word. And I never used it with my children, ever. Not one time until they were adults. And then I figured they were safe. So
up in New York, though, I feel like we put a lot of emphasis. And I've been told that I put a lot of emphasis.
When you say it.
When I especially with the F part. Like, fuck.
And there's something that
just even spit flies out of my mouth.
You don't even think about what it really means. It's just
and it means, and it's so universal.
Yeah,
it's so universal.
I hate to hear kids use it though, and that's
stupid. I mean, I do too.
I know that's stupid on my part,
but it's not stupid on your part. It's just like that is the grand mommy, the grand master of all curse words.
It is.
The F word.
The F word. The F bomb.
The F bomb.
And it's so much fun to just say to somebody that doesn't know you at all, this isn't getting better. I'm going to throw the F bomb. And that tells you can see on their face, that tells that person whether you're safe or not.
Oh my God. I mean, can't it just come across? It can either come across as fun, loving, like I fucking love you. I fucking love you. Or
fuck you.
Fuck you, man.
And I don't usually ever say fuck you. Well,
no, I don't think
I've said it to my husband more than once, but
I've said it, but you know what? I feel like go fuck yourself is worse.
It is worse. I think it is. Because get a visual on that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And if you add something else, like go fuck yourself with a cheese grater.
Exactly. Or I don't remember what I heard yesterday, and I thought, oh my God, that's really graphic.
Right? I heard that the other day, and I was just like,
on the TV show,
yes,
actually.
clutch pearls. And I am like the queen of the F-bomb.
Exactly.
I was like, wow, that's kind of bad. But yeah. Anyway, so aside from all of that, so they didn't get a good biopsy or good sample,
cell, whatever they wanted. Yeah. Sample
to treat or to treat, to look at, to see if
properly
which one it was.
So
you're going to go back next Thursday.
Yes.
At 8:30 in the morning
a.m.
Is this down on the island?
On the island.
Oh shoot.
I know.
How are you getting there?
I said, well, Debbie will take me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said to Florence, was the name of the lady that did, I said, you know what kind of traffic I'm going to run into to try to get to you? And she laughed and said, yeah, ma'am, I do.
But like a little more.
Just a bit. This is early in the afternoon.
It's not bad, right?
Vibing.
I feel like,
but it does
I feel like white wine, you can just drink white wine all the time.
Do you think that?
Yeah, like this could be like a cheers. This could be like a beverage that you drink for with your eggs. Well, you know how they have mimosa.
Oatmeal.
You know what I mean? Could you cook me some bacon with my wine?
Oh, mercy. You're deteriorating here. Mm-hmm.
I think that you have such a great spirit about you, even after learning what you've learned. It's crazy to me, and I look at that as just, where do you get that from? Where do you get it
I
from?
don't know where I get that
You're
from.
just built that way, I guess.
I guess because my mother wasn't that way. She was stoic. When my mother was dying, like she was on her last week and she was in the hospital. And I said, Mom, if there's anything that you could have done that you haven't done, and we had never really had that, oh, you're dying, let's talk about it, talk. But I said, if there's anything you could have done that you didn't do, what would it be? And she said, carpet my kitchen.
Carpet the kitchen.
Carpet the kitchen.
Hmm.
And I just went like you did.
Hmm.
And I said to
Sounds
my BFF,
brilliant. Brilliant.
that's really out there, Mom.
You're not gonna say that, but you're thinking it.
And this woman lived with secrets all her life. So I said
That's a
to my
grandiose idea.
I said to my BFF, if I ever get to that point, will you shoot me in the moment?
That's like putting a cover of a cloth cover on your toilet.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Carpet your kitchen. But in those days, you had carpeted kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
You did. And
Yeah, back then you did.
And she did. And we're talking 30 years. And she did have carpeting on her kitchen that needed to be replaced. So I just couldn't even go there because she had so many things. I mean, she'd never been out of this country. At least I've been out of the country, but she would rather have carpet on. And I think I said something like, really? Over anything else? And she said, yes. So that was the end of that deep conversation.
Well, and with that being said, let's just say diagnosis is correct. You've got 6 months.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Now what? Now what do you do?
Well, the first thing I do is going to cover my chest with faux leather that I've had the faux leather city. I want to do that first. And I've worked on bookkeeping. I'm moving money around and stuff for the kids. And Jill arrives at midnight Saturday night for 2 days. So then I start praying that my 2 daughters don't have a fight over something.
Good.
And then I just try to live my best life. I do the thing.
If you could do one thing.
What could I do?
If you could do one thing.
If I could do one thing.
If you could do one thing that you've always wanted to do. Because now's the time, Liz. Now is the time to live your best life. What would that one thing be? What have you always wanted to do and just been like, you know what? I'll do it next year. I'll do it sometime. Now's not the time.
Well, I want to do a river cruise in Europe, but
Okay.
I don't know that I have enough well time to schedule it. And I would.
When you say well time, what do you mean?
Like that I feel good enough to get on a plane. It's tiring to fly to Europe.
It really is. It's a long trip.
Long trip.
What is it? 12 hours? Something
I
like that?
So. And yeah, I just want to spend. Well, I will spend time with I just have to think about that.
Think about it.
There's a lot of things that
I'm
I
sure
had planned.
That's that bucket list sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess I'm just asking you what number one is on your bucket list. Because there's obvious things that you have to do when you have a diagnosis like this. You have to, the obvious things. You got to get your finances in order. You got to make sure everything is supposed to be done that's supposed to be done, right?
I definitely would like to talk to an ex-president of the United States.
Who?
About our country.
Who? Who would you like to speak with?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm. Because he's old.
Okay.
but he's lived a fabulous life.
Uh-huh.
And like some people don't believe that, but I do because I've watched what he's done, and he's lost. He lost his wife and his daughter at a young age before he was sworn in. I don't know. I just think he's very wise. Um, I'm interested in what's going to happen in our country, and that makes me sad because I'm going to miss it.
I see.
I'm not going to know. Maybe that's better that I don't know. But yeah, I wish there was a way that I could see how all of them would do.
You know, I believe that you do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I believe that we are just vessels. This body, this exterior,
Carries our
it
soul.
carries our soul, right? And it's a
And I
silver
believe
cord,
that
right? The silver cord is connected
somewhere.
to not definitely not here.
No.
I believe that you want people
Do
say,
you think
"Oh,
we're
there's
a different
heaven, there's
dimension?
hell."
Yeah.
I think earth is hell. That's what I think this is.
Well,
I
it
think
certainly
earth
can be.
is hell. And I think that when you are done learning all the lessons you're supposed to learn, you finally get eternal life. And your core, even it disconnect, the silver cord, it disconnects from this body, but you get to live eternally, you know.
And I
I
go
believe
one
in all of
step
that.
further. I do believe in reincarnation.
I do. I believe in that also.
Yeah.
I believe that we keep coming back
If
and
you
keep
haven't
coming
learned
back.
it all until
Yes,
you've
that's what
got
I
it.
believe.
And I definitely will be back.
Yes, and I believe you will be also. But I don't think you can choose what you come back as. I feel like there are life lessons for humans to have to learn.
And I
So
think
to
that's
say,
the
"Oh, I want to come
criteria.
back as an eagle," or "I want to
Yeah.
come back as
No.
a fish."
You got to come back and deal with humans.
You have to come back and you have to live. You have to.
Mhm.
There's a something you missed in the past life.
Mhm.
But you know what I've heard?
Mm.
And this all sounds cockamamie, right? To a lot of people, this sounds
To a
like
lot of people,
really
it
out
sounds-
there.
Yeah.
But
Denial, they think it.
I've heard that once you've reached the sign of Pisces, that is your last life.
Really?
Yes.
And where does Pisces stand in the
zodiac?
Well, if Pisces is the ultimate, does it go in order through the signs to Pisces, or is it a stepping stone to Pisces?
I don't know, but if it is, then listen. I'm an Aquarius.
Me too.
I got some more life to
live. And I'm thinking Aquarius probably has the most to learn because of how they are.
Because of how fucked up we are.
We really are.
I mean, we're kind of fucking
Right.
weird in our heads.
Yeah,
Okay, there it is. I said it. Okay, my fellow Aquarians,
Yes.
you're not getting mad. You know why you're not getting mad? Because you know what I'm saying is fucking true.
That's true.
We're crazy. We're out there, but
I just wonder where we fit in this. Yeah.
But we love with our whole soul.
We do.
I feel.
Yes.
And we really and truly just want peace. That's it.
Peace above all. Want everybody to just be happy little campers.
Yeah. Just want everybody to get along and be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about that earlier. Like when I wake up in the morning, this morning, I looked at some like the chest of drawers or something, and I thought, oh, geez, am I going to get that painted? But then, honestly, this voice, it isn't a voice, but I think my thought process is you are going to die. Is that important? Well, kind of it is.
If it's important to you now, then it's important.
Right. And I feel like what I'm doing with my finances is just an extent. I want to control everything. And the most that I can control before I die, I want it in place that I'm controlling.
Yeah.
And what they do after, oh well. But I hope I'm going to have it tight enough that they're going to do what I need them to do to be happy, because I believe I know that. But we don't.
Oh, girl, we are the same. Because I am one of the most controlling people. And I keep saying to myself, the only thing I can control, I have to remind myself, is me.
It's you.
And what happens to me, those I let affect me, the things that happen to me.
Yep.
Now this, cancer,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't help that. You couldn't control that. Completely out of your control. but I'm saying how I'm treated and the people I let into my life. That's about the only thing I can control.
You can control that, and you can control how they affect you.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
it's so hard.
Absolutely.
So hard, because to control, you can control how they act.
Right.
And that affects you.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't quite work that way.
And it's just I need the control, and if I feel like I don't have the control, then I get angry.
Yeah, it bothers me a lot.
I get angry. I shouldn't. I don't let it depress me. I don't let it, but I do start to mentally spin like,
yeah,
give me my control back.
I get it. I get it.
So back to the bucket list thing. Think on that one. Think on that, because I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah, if I had pick one, I don't know. I told all the kids, my first 2 grandchildren did not graduate from high school, and that disturbs me immensely because education to me is the key. But so I told, as they were coming up later, I said, anybody that graduates from high school, I'm going to take you on a trip of your choice. Well, then COVID hit and TJ was graduating. So I owe TJ a trip. And then Riley just graduated and we didn't have time to take a trip. So she's on the list. And then Michaela, who's 16 now, said to me, do I get a trip when I graduate? And I said, gosh, you got 2 in holding right now. I hope so, So I'd like to at least get TJ on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I can stay well enough that we can do that. Maybe Iceland.
Ooh, Iceland.
I hear it's wonderful.
What a very peaceful place, Iceland.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. You know another
nature everywhere.
Yeah. Do you know another place that's supposed to be one of the most peaceful on earth? Ireland.
Oh, Ireland. See, I want to see it all.
You wouldn't think that because the Irish, they're fighting.
They're fighting, but
they're fighting Irish.
But the Irish are so much fun.
They're so fun. Do you know why they fight? They fight because they drink. And they drink.
They're always drinking.
Because they're always drunk. But other than that, I'm sure they're fan-fucking-tastic.
That's right.
And so peaceful.
Yeah, so peaceful. Because you are peaceful. Well, yeah. Some people are peaceful when they're drinking.
Listen, I feel like I'm a pretty fun drunk. And I've seen some people that get mean.
I don't drink anymore that much. My one drink, but I used to be a really fun drunk. Oh, we had some good times.
Girl, that's what we do. We're Aquarians.
Yep, that's right.
We're fun drunks.
There you are.
We're fun all the time. Yeah. It's not just being drunk and fun. Yeah. We're always fun. But we are the fun.
I'm usually funny. I try to be funny.
You are funny.
Yes.
I think that's why I gravitate towards you. I've always gravitated towards you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're funnier together.
Yeah.
Power numbers.
I think funny people are funny together, right? Because they play off of each other. Right?
Yeah, you were nervous to be on today. What'd you think that we weren't gonna vibe? We vibe, girl.
Have these questions and I'd answer them. Very boring. My husband asked me once, "What do you want?" I think I asked him first because that would be a question I would ask. But he said, "What do you want to be remembered for when you die?" And I said, "For how funny I was."
Absolutely.
And he just laughed and he said, "You were pretty funny, Liz." So I think he said, "I love that answer." He did say that to me.
And you'll be remembered that way. By me, I know. And if I think you're funny, it's hard to make me laugh. Okay?
It is?
It is hard to make me laugh. I have got a great sense of humor, but you got to be damn funny.
It's got to be funny.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's what's even funnier is like sometimes when I do these podcasts, of course, I'm not watching the other person when I'm watching it back and editing. I'm watching me. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I am a little self-absorbed when it comes to that, I guess.
Oh, I hope you watch me. I'm sure. Oh, I'm so nervous.
No, you're going to watch yourself. I'm going to send you the link.
Oh, my God.
And you're going to watch you. But I do watch myself. And you know what? I was telling Talia this the other day. I'm like, because she watched herself. And I watched her watch herself on the podcast.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, after I had recorded it and edited and everything. And she was watching it. And she was laughing, and she was looking at herself and laughing. I said, see, you're seeing yourself how other people perceive you, how other people see you.
That's right.
And you're making yourself laugh.
So they're going to laugh.
Because you have, the expression on your face and whatever you're saying, you can't see. until you look at yourself back and you see it and you go, that's why people think I'm fucking funny.
Exactly. Oh, I
Because it
now.
kind of just in harmony, just
Yeah.
kind of links together. The
Yeah.
face,
Yeah.
what you're saying, it goes all together, and you're like, holy shit, I am
I
funny.
did,
Oh my
I
God, I'm
did,
funny.
Yep.
So, but yeah, but
So
we're
there
going
you
to do
have it.
this.
Are we going to do this weekly?
We're going to do this every week. What do you think on Thursdays? Same
Okay.
time, same
Okay.
station.
Okay. And what happens with this? Where do you put this? Facebook?
So it goes on YouTube. I
Oh, it
can't
does.
put the whole thing on Facebook.
Because it's too long.
Yeah, it's way too long. But I put the entire episode on YouTube. You
Mhm.
can listen on Spotify. Sometimes I miss putting it on Spotify. Like the last 2 podcasts, I have not uploaded the audio to Spotify. But YouTube, you can listen to that too. If you can't, watch it, you can just put it on and you can listen anyways. Anyway, I just burped.
I
See, you have nothing
I
to worry
did
about.
well about burping on this.
You did
I haven't burped.
amazing.
I haven't burped.
Now are you plugged up? Like now do you have
No,
to
I
really
don't
like?
feel
Are you
it
gonna
yet,
get up
but
and
I'll
be like?
probably get up.
"Rah!"
I've never been a burper in my life ever, and I thought more than once. I did a burp the other night. It was so long and so loud because I have to get it. It has to come out.
Oh, of course.
My
How
husband
uncomfortable.
would have said, "Wow, Liz, that was good."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the other day when I was over at your house and you were like,
You heard it.
sorry. I'm like, good one. My husband and I say that all the time to each other. Like if he farts or something and it's really loud and great, I mean, I'm giving you props. Like, great job.
See, my husband was
It's amazing.
very grossed out by that.
Was he?
Oh, horribly.
Ugh.
He thought he was really funny to hold my head under the sheets, but I couldn't make a little peep with that. He going, "Oh, Liz, God, ooh."
Ew,
So
you
he would be.
gross.
I'm glad he didn't live long enough to observe this experience.
I think he would have understood, but at the same time,
No,
I wish
he
my
would
husband
have.
would be like, ew. I'd be
Ew.
like,
Oh,
oh, ew?
Ooh,
Oh,
whatever
okay.
I would have said.
Gotcha.
Are you kidding me? And I did say that more than once, but he was so gross.
Yeah.
He didn't think it was ladylike, and I don't either. But
Oh,
you get to this point.
that's the one thing I've never, I can turn on class. I can turn on and off the class in certain situations. I know I need to be classy and I can't curse and I need to be a lady. And
Not a lot of people, Dawn. I could do that too. Because in Tom's positions, we were with mayors and governors, and I knew when
to turn it on, when to just, when to shut up.
Just shut up and just smile sweetly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody can do that.
I have the uncanny ability to do that. Thank God.
I do too.
Thank God.
Do too. And
but then, sometimes my filter falls off.
Falls off.
Yeah, just go. Ooh. Yeah, and you're like,
you remember where you're at.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. That's why the firefighters always like me.
Yeah, you're just fun. Yeah. You're fun. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Liz, you've always been. Oh gosh, we'll get into what we've been through at another episode.
Do you think people are gonna really watch this?
Absolutely, and I think what you're doing is exceptional. I think it's brave as shit.
Because I want my children and my grandchildren to just see me.
Yeah,
just see me and remember me because I want to be remembered that I was here. Not for anything special.
Your legacy will live on. It will.
Well, I hope so.
It really will.
I hope so.
I promise you
I
that.
have something to.
It will definitely live on.
To move on. I hope so.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a lot of people that, Deb being one of them. It's going to be a hard time. And I tell her that. I'm the type of person, I'm very, I know it's going to be super difficult. And I'm not in a position of denial, whereas she is your daughter. Of course, that's going to hit different for her. While it makes me incredibly, incredibly fucking sad.
Well, it's very sad.
I mean, because I just love you to death.
I know.
But I know Deb is just so devastated.
She is.
And there's no words that will comfort that. So the one silver lining here is that you do know, and you have sort of a time frame. Do we hope it's longer? 100% we do.
Absolutely.
However,
Maybe not.
you need to live each day, and everybody else in your life needs to treat it like it's your
my
last. Okay?
Mhm.
So, that being said, you can say all your love, you can say all your goodbyes, you can say how much you appreciate each other. You're able to get that all out. Whereas most of us, we take each other for granted.
Oh, we take life for granted.
We take life for
I'm
granted.
Guilty.
That
Yeah.
we get up and we are able to put our feet on the floor and see our children or see our husband or our wife, and
Yeah.
breathe the air again the next day. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that.
Oh, I think so too. Like, now here's an example. I've lived where I am since the 1st of October, so that's what, 3 months, few days. And my bed skirt around my bed, your little bed skirt that you have, I've known for 3 months I need to put little pins in there to hold it where it's in, because it's always, do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
it pulls down.
Yeah, it pulls down.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I change the sheets on the bed, I think you need to do that. But today,
I've never even thought of doing that, by the way.
You
with
what?
bed skirt. I've never even thought of doing that, like pinning it down.
Yeah, pin it with big pins.
Yeah. Never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Just always let it slip
So
all the way off.
today, though, I know, and it's hanging down, it's
Yeah.
just ugly. But I think nobody will see that. But today I put the pins in.
Yeah.
It took me 15 minutes max. And I put that off for 3 months. But that's the things I see myself doing over the next however months.
What about your memory wall?
What
You
does
gonna
that
do
mean?
the memory wall?
What's that? Oh, my memory wall. I need help with that. I'm
You know
hoping
what?
the kids will do it.
Great idea. This is a perfect way to maybe
Makes me sad.
get it all together, because you're going to need the help with that.
I do. I need.
So what you do is you plan with Jill.
While she's here.
You plan,
And TJ.
You plan with TJ. You plan with Deb to get all of that wall done that you want to get done.
And I want it done soon.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're going to have to.
They're going to have to what?
They're going to have to take it all down when they sell it. But that's not my problem, because they'll be selling it and I'll be dead.
No, but you know what?
What?
Maybe they might do like a rental on it. Maybe they'll rent it.
Well, those renters aren't going to live with my memory wall. Although it's really.
They better live with your memory
They
wall.
might like it a lot because there's good stuff on it.
Yeah.
There's good stuff laying on the floor now that needs to go on.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they'll do that for me.
Yeah.
But I will definitely engineer it and be the.
You will be the director.
I will be the director.
Chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board. As far up as I need to go.
Exactly. I am CEO of the memory wall. So there's that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because yes, I really want that done. And part of me thinks, oh, Liz, why do it? It's just going to have to come down. But
it's a memory wall, and who better to do it with than your family to create another memory?
And I could tell them about the memories that are going up there.
You could even have somebody take a picture of y'all doing the memory wall.
Yeah.
To add to the memory wall.
Wouldn't
that be amazing?
The memory of the memory.
You print out the picture of you guys doing the memory wall together,
right.
And that goes on the memory wall.
Exactly. Exactly.
So so every Thursday, this is what we're gonna do.
Okay, we're gonna do it.
I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you coming to me and telling me that this is something that you want to do, and I'm honored. I'm honored to be the one to help you sort of do a little docu-series of you.
As I walk through it.
You'll
come to me when I can't come to you.
You 100%. Okay. That's what I was going to tell everybody watching. So obviously, Liz having this type of cancer, and we're not sure yet if she's going to go for the treatment that might give her another 6 months. But as of now, the doctors have given her 6 months. So just a brief kind of synopsis of what's happened here. Her pancreatic cancer, stage 4, and it has metastasized to her lungs. She is going to be going in next Thursday, right? At 8 30 for a biopsy of her lungs. So they'll have to kind of open you up, right?
They do it with a CT, so the CT probably identifies where the nodules are, and they're going to have to go in with a needle, I guess, and
Okay.
excise cells.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds pretty yucky.
Sounds really bad,
Yeah.
but hopefully it's only as bad as the distension, drainage.
Exactly, or the shot in the eyeball. Couldn't be worse. And I've always said nothing could be worse than radiation for breast cancer. So there's that too.
So there's that too. Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna document this journey, and we're gonna get together as long as Liz is able to come here to the studio and we can sit like this.
Mm-hmm.
But when that time comes that she cannot, I will be bringing the docuseries to her, and we're gonna video right down to the end. I think
So. I think we should.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important for, like you said, you want to do this for your family.
I do. I want
so
them
they
to
can
see
remember
me.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it'll also help a lot of other people kind of cope and deal.
Well, the information, I'm hoping that, like today, I Googled progression of pancreatic cancer. I want somebody, but maybe they can't. I want to see 1, your stomach's going to do this. 2, your pancreas going to. 3, you're going to feel this. But there's nothing out there. So we're at week 1, folks, but really 6 months plus week 1.
So week 1, this is the doctor stated that it had been happening for about 6 months.
That's what he said.
So
6 months to a
he
year.
estimated 6 months to a year that this has been happening.
Mm-hmm.
It has been developing, sort of brewing, if you will.
Yeah.
So it quickly metastasized from the pancreas to the lungs.
Yeah.
Is it not considered lung cancer?
Mm-mm. It's pancreatic cancer
Metastasized.
It's a different cancer.
So
Lung cancer is different than pancreatic.
Got it.
And people get confused by that.
Yeah, because I know that with ovarian cancer,
right,
that can metastasize to your liver
or your bones,
right?
But it's still ovarian cancer,
right? But it's still ovarian cancer.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? It's wild.
Yeah, it
because
is.
If it goes to your lungs, you would think it would be like lung cancer, but it's not.
No.
So anyway, we're gonna continue to do this as long as you feel comfortable coming here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't feel comfortable coming here, I'll come to you. And if at any given time you say, Dawn, I'm done, I really just don't want to do this anymore, then we're done.
Okay.
And I will respect that.
Thank you.
But of course, I'll keep coming over, spend time.
Walking my dog. She's walking
Princeton.
Yep. Like Prince Philip.
Prince Philip. All right, guys. Okay. Peace, love, health, and happiness to everybody out there. And like I said, every Thursday we'll have Liz on. And we're going to follow her journey. And we really appreciate you guys watching, liking, and subscribing. Thanks y'all so much.